Here you go.
Hello. First of all, thank you for inviting me. This is a privilege to be here. Yes, my name is Sampo Malin. I'm a lecturer of sculpture, kind of responsible of education of public art here in Lab University of Applied Sciences. And I'm presenting a little bit about public art education here in Lab, which is, I think it's in quite good shape at the moment. I chose a picture about our campus, which I think it's in a beautiful place by the lake, but I didn't remember that foreign members are from Sweden, Norway and Estonia, so it doesn't do much, but for Italians this is beautiful picture, I hope. But the campus by the lake, this is a wonderful place to study and to work. Yes, I'm also coordinating the master studies here in the school and work as a sculptor. All right, a little bit about public art in Finland. Between 2017 and 2021, the amount of public art competitions kind of exploded from one annual competition in Finland to about 21, 22, which it has been since that. So there was a change of ways of thinking or change of attitude at that time. So also there was direct acquisitions for public art at the same time, so suddenly there was quite a lot of work for multiple artists for making public art. So there was time to renew this whole commissioning stuff. It's still not ready, the whole system, but the whole point is that we have Association of Finnish Artists that's kind of supervising the whole thing, that it would be whole process would be making from the benefits of artist and the commissioner or commissioner. How do you say it? So both the one who makes art and the one who orders art can be sure that they get proper public art with good quality. But there was also time before that when ordering public art was very low in Finland. We don't know why, somebody knows, I haven't asked, but it's been quite popular in Finland. For example, after the Second World War, when half of Finland was basically burned, and starting to rebuild the country, people start to demand public art at the same time. So we didn't have any buildings in Lapland or no proper roads or railroads or anything, but still people demanded that we have to have art to new buildings and squares and anything in Lapland. So it's somewhere written in this whole thing. But the picture is, I think it's beautiful work. It's memorial of Matti Nykänen, ski jumper. It's a nice steel sculpture, but it's also, what I like is it's very light, and it tells about a little bit of how the public art is advancing in Finland all the time, from my point of view. So kind of featherweight, like ski jumpers, even though it's 56 tons of weight. But this is also a reminder of this kind of acquisition project that these processes are not very final in Finland. We have a lot of development to make. This machine doesn't like me. Okay, so what's metal to do with all this? Public art, from our point of view, is that of course they're an option in public art. They're very useful option in multiple ways. They're also a solution for many impossible things. In Lab we have this collaboration with LUT University, lecturers and professors, and also the lecturers of technical sectors of Lab University, who always help us with these issues. But it's also tool for expression in art, of course, and part of art history. But what's interesting that students find this also kind of difficult thing to discuss about metal, because they have to discuss about ethics in art, in public art also, and metal is kind of good way for that. The things are not so black and white, so there's always perspectives and what you calculate on everything within. So about, for example, the footprint, how much do we calculate about footprint of metal, or well, I read about article about this Swedish steel factory that makes carbon-free steel nowadays, or is able to make, but nobody talk about mining or anything like that. So that's a good good thing to discuss about ethics also, the metal. But art education in Lab University, public art education, is working on every levels. We have this emphasis in public art, or at least it has been. But it goes for, in any way you come to study public fine arts in our school, you somehow get to connected with public art. For example, bachelor students, we also already present public art in running in course, so-called running in course, so it's basically sculpture. I've been taking care that every student know what's about when we discuss about public art, and what they have to consider. Of course, can't give the final solution or a lot of information, but also on the first course, it's very important to bring out what can spatial art sculpture be. So public arts is definitely one of the important aspects nowadays and in the future. But it's also about limits and possibilities of art at the same times. Yes, but public art is one way of expressing things for us or in our education. It has its own possibilities, and in the future it will be developed even further, so there will be kind of city studies or environment studies, and discussing about space, and also about this public art already in bachelor programs. This is a work of Lotta Tilli. This is one example of a public art course project. They are very tiny, I must say. So they're not kind of project that could be possible for professional artists, because the funding is so small and they have to be made in such a short notice or something like that. So it's kind of different task than working as a professional artist in a bigger projects. But also in master studies, there's 60 credits, and their studies are nearly completely in distance learning, and they are concentrated on the theme of public art. So the whole soul of the master studies is public art, the fine arts master studies. We have lecturers, artists, staff in museums, foundation, and art coordinators, and of course the lecturers are these professionals from field. We always try to find those people who are at the moment making something important for us. And the point is to show or help the students go through the whole public art process, so they don't have to learn it by making it mistakes on the first time and suffering for the whole project. So prefer that we tell about what's happening and what's going to happen and how steps goes, and professional artists tell what not to do and what to do and how does it go. So they don't have to go to difficult phases, so at least not so much. The main students are artists, but there's also some designers and light designers and scenographer and I don't know, something else, I don't remember. But applying to studies go through the artistic portfolio, so basically they have to be in some level in making art before we can accept those to our studies. Then they have supplementary studies which strengthen their public art making identity, so which they can choose all over Finland or all over the world and depending on what kind of public art they are interested in, what kind of makers of public art they're going to be. So everybody who graduates are making very different kind of stuff. This is, for example, Omar Truko-Kalonen's presentation. He's actually a light designer, and this is combination of mural painting and three-dimensional steel work. So all the reflecting stuff is made out of steel, and there's also a painted ground, so there's optical illusion in the work. Okay, this is the focus points. I don't remember what I wrote in here, but the focus points of public art studies, basically things that we go through to get students to know certain things that we want. Nothing special, just the basic, but very kind of practical basics. So the University of Applied Sciences in Finland is very based on practical things also, including these, of course, theoretical issues, but practicality is our kind of tool. And of course we have RDI projects. Well, yeah. We have at the moment we have this multidisciplinary 3-year project mixing public art and community planning or designing. So we need cooperation between those who make public art and also those who plan the cities or the areas for the public art. So there won't be just kind of first the design of the space where art is going to be, and then open it up for artists that now start making something over here. But we're thinking more about the possibility that artists and planners would communicate more. Artists would get into this designing process earlier, maybe even when opening the whole design process. So when we start to plan for a new area for example, for living, for housing, the artist would be already there planning what kind of public art could be in this case. What would be the options? Because of course, the urban planners don't have the information about what are the possibilities of art, because they have not been trained there. They basically they don't have time for all of that to find out. So easiest solution for us, for our own point of view, would be that there would be artists also in this process. We have a second education process now going on through this. So there's artists and urban planners together studying the issues of public art and urban planning, and then making the group work, this multi-professional group work, and then we'll see the solution. How are they working? And the first time they were very inspiring, the solutions. But yes, idea is to give public art possibility to be more versatile, and tell about the possibilities also. What could art be in public place? What would be the actual possibilities, instead of just one roundabout and make art over there? Or could it be integrated in somewhere? Because in public art it's many times is. But also in this course, all the artists have to be trained professionals, just like urban planners have to be trained professionals. We want to have trained professionals because that we would talk the same language, so we wouldn't have to learn the language or anything like that. That's very important for us, and I think that's one of the reasons that we can discuss about difficult issues with one another, that we all kind of know what we are talking about. All the artists know what they're talking about with one another, and the designers, the planners also. I was making this slideshow more than a week ago. I would have a wonderful picture about this example of a multi-professional cooperation in Calgary. There was this Dale Hodges Park, and there this Watershed Plus project. There was urban planners and artists it took, I don't remember how many years it took, but it was about planning this flowed water area. So it wasn't just a pool, but they invited artists to cooperate with one another and with the planners, and there's all kind of cool, beautiful stuff, and also artists, basic art, I would say objects, these water posts, which are actually fountains, and people can take drinking water, and then artists could design all kind of different parts and options there and participate on the planning of the whole project. But unfortunately, I don't have the picture, but I hope you got the picture. It was wonderful. But it's Dale Hodges Park, if you want to check out, or Watershed Plus. But this was my quick slideshow. There's actually one picture of our students who just won the we had a tiny competition in our public art course to our Power to X laboratory. This new making Power to X is project to making this green hydrogen as efficiently as possible. And this is Erika Ahoden's flow work. It looks like it would be stainless steel, but actually it's not. It's ceramics, paper clay, and it's glazed with this kind of chrome kind of glazing. So that's why I brought the picture here. But I'm very proud of this work, and it's a good example of our public art education. But please come talk to me, pull my sleeve if you have something to ask about or comment about, or here's my email. You can reach me through that. If you can't, just ask from Jenny. She'll help. Thank you.
Don't disappear anywhere. Sampo, älä mene mihinkään, seiso siinä. Sai sen pöydän vieressä. We have a couple of minutes of time. If anyone has any questions related to the education of public art, is there any? There's a mic also traveling. I cannot see any raised hands, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like the situation in Finland now, and now you have done a great job of developing the education of public art in our school, but in wider perspective, where are we standing if you compare like what's going on in Finland otherwise?
In public art education?
Yes.
Actually, it's I think all the art schools are developing the public art education because the professional artists see that it's very important part of the, for example, working as an artist, but also a very important part of our society and surroundings and environment here in Finland. And there's a lot of interest for public art, and it's increasing all the time. Kind of people are, this doesn't sound very kind of surprising, but suddenly even the companies are interested in public art, so they're putting money for public art projects. It happens everywhere else. It has happened decades ago, but Finland is coming behind, but step by step. So I think it's a good possibility for young people, and schools are very interested about public art education at the moment. Yes?
Yeah, but it's the other part. So if you are dealing with public art, just a minute.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so interesting to hear about demand of public art. But what if public does not like the outcome?
Yes. Well, I don't think, the nature of Finnish people is complaining. It's about complaining about things that they don't like. But also, I think the public art gets quite good feedback. And of course, we have this system when public art is funded by, for example, government or city, or it's placed in a city area. There's always a jury and it's always compromised. So the artists can't make, well, many times we can't make kind of works that we would like, so they kind of softened down and brought more popular. I've heard quite a lot of complaints from artists, but sometimes people don't like, sometimes they like, but usually they complain about 2 weeks and then they forget the whole thing and find new thing to complain about. It's Finland. Thank you.
Could you expand on the practical aspects of the education in public art? So, I mean, a big part of doing public art is zero to do with actual art. It has everything to do with managing a big project, managing budgets, the practical aspects, how to make it, how to make the maquettes, the models for it. That's the majority of it.
Yes, exactly. We learned making art in these bachelor studies, and then the master studies when studying public arts. It's learning to exactly what you told, and then making presentations and budgets and discussion about the ethics and of course the carbon footprint is very important nowadays, and the places, and also about how does the public art affect surroundings and how does the surroundings affect on public art. But yes, exactly, these are the main issues. But it's not about making art anymore. We can't tell what is good public art, what should you make to get this done, but we can tell about the stuff that artists are gonna face.
How much of the actual making do you have in this education? I mean, the hands-on.
Hands-on, students don't have to, in master studies, they don't have to make public art piece, because in Finland the project can take 5 years, so we can't demand them.
But still maquettes or models or things
yeah,
like that.
they're making this thesis is they have to write about, of course, but then they have to make presentation. So the artistic part is to make the professional presentation where they have to think through everything, make pictures and budgets and a technical task, and so they could just toss it somewhere and it would go through, and
thank you.
Everybody would be happy. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm happy with this.
You don't want me to ask anything?
Yeah, you can ask, yes.
No, I was just, because you have been taking the charge in our school of this part in the education. So how has the process been? Like, in general, so have the students' attitudes changed during the years? Does it seem like, do they feel like it's a relevant way of earning money in the future, or what are the discussions?
Yeah, I think the students start to see, I've noticed some students have been on my class here. But the feedback, I asked students to write an essay about what have they found during the course, and I would say 90% of the essays are text about they have realized how their artistic work could actually be presented in public space, with only a little bit changing it or twisting. But it's the interest is increasing. Of course, there's the public art is visible all the time. They're facing the public art. Students also kind of understand that it's possibility, and we're discussing about the public art. But the attitude is, I wouldn't say rising, but the interest is increasing towards the public art. But they can, the whole issue is that we're trying to, in bachelor studies, we're trying to find the ways of showing the students art as a public art. They don't have to check out what public art is and then change their making. Instead of that, just trying to little bit twist their own making, find the material or something else to turn it to publicly presented art. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sampo Malin.
Thank you.